Welcome to the Voices of the Goddess podcast. We believe that there is a goddess inside each and every one of us. When we use our voice to share that goddess, we support and uplift each other. Join us each week as we interview women to receive the message of their goddess within. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm Julietta, the magical PT. I didn't name myself that. Other people have named me that. And you know what? I really like it. It's pretty cool. I love that people think I do magic. And so I have my private practice here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I love my clients. I love my referral sources. And we all make magic happen together. So I can only make magic if the person on the table is magical too. So that's like the truth right there. And I'm a cat mom, and I'm a podcaster. I'm an artist. I'm going to be in a small art show this weekend. So if people need to buy some last minute Christmas gifts, it's going to be, I think I heard that there's going to be like 22 local artists there. And so it's going to be at, forget the name of the plaza, but it's on Federal, like near Sunrise, where Cow the Cuban Bakery is, and Wild Fork, that meat place that I've never gone to is. But come check us out and buy some Christmas gifts. Give the people you love like a really unique, creative, one-of-a-kind gift for the holidays, and support your local small artists. So who are you?
Well, my first question is, am I frozen?
No, you're not frozen this episode. You actually move, so we like it.
I am Allison Mancini, and I am a holistic nutritionist and human resources director for an amazing company. I'm also originally from Michigan, Midwest girl at heart, but I have been in South Florida for, it'll be 29 years in February. I know. And I'm married to an amazing guy for over 28 years. We have 2 adult children, 25 and 22, that I am super proud of and really love being around and miss a lot all the time. But my real passion is just helping specifically busy women, but I work with men also, but helping them on their
You work with women who aren't busy.
Huh?
Do you work with women who aren't busy?
No, because every woman is busy. So period. I work with women. And basically my passion is my experience. I got very ill myself, and I really found that nutrition and functional medicine really was the way to get better. And so I'm really passionate about that. I'm passionate about helping women, giving them the tools that they need to really eat well. And I know, being a mom and raising 2 kids and running a household, I know a lot of the time the women kind of set the tone in the house. So if you know what you're doing with food and all that good stuff, then it tends to trickle down to your family, including your dogs, cats, birds, and whatever else you have. So
truth right there.
Yep.
So I want to talk about something that really interesting that happened to me this week.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, and I was telling Allison the story earlier, but I ordered something last week on Amazon that I specifically ordered because it was Prime and it was going to get here on Monday. And I got my notification, it's been delivered. And so Amazon does this thing where they take a picture of the package where they left it for you. And I look at the picture and I'm like, that's not my office. I don't know where that is, but that's not any place that I know that I can go grab my package. So I spent 2 days like trying to get in touch with Amazon customer service to let them know, like, hey, the package was delivered, but not to me. So, but technology gods wouldn't let me into Amazon either. So about a half hour ago, my doorbell's ringing and I go to see who it is, and it's my mailman. And he came over to tell me, he's like, I just want you to know there's a package for you in the building next door. And I was like, that's where my missing Amazon package is. He's like, I would have brought it to you, but like legally, I'm not allowed to do that.
Right.
And so I went over there and I get my package and the thing is opened, like completely opened.
Like someone full on was going to totally take what's in it.
Well, that's my thought, like they opened it up. What's in here is not interesting. No, but unless you're like, you don't want, no one else wants what's in here but me. So they like just kind of closed it back up and stuck it. So like I instantly went to the same thought that you went to they opened it up and realized like, there ain't nothing in here that I want. So I'll just put it back. And then I went, maybe my first thought should have been like, because I've done this before where, like you get some mail and you're not really, you assume because it came to you that it's yours.
Yeah.
So you open it up and then they open it up and went, wait.
Yeah. Okay.
This isn't
Fair
mine.
enough. Yeah.
So like, that's my question. Like I take every happening in life and like, kind of like, what's the lesson to be learned here? And that's my thought. Like, I would love to see in the comments what other people's like, what would your first thought have been? Was it like, hey, they were going to take this free thing? Or would it have been, oh, they must have accidentally opened it and realized it wasn't theirs?
So the more we talk about it, I'm going to go with they opened it accidentally, not realizing it was theirs. Because if they were truly going in there to take it, no matter what it was, they're crafty enough. They'll, like, if they're taking something to sell it, they'll figure, they don't care what it is, they'll find a way to sell it, right? And I feel like it's one of those moments, like you said, because even my husband and I do this. Like, I'll order stuff from Amazon, or he will, and I'll go to the door and I'll grab it, and I don't even think that it has his name on it. I just start opening it up, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's not mine. And I shut it back up and I put it on his desk. So I'm going to go with they thought
I like that. But here's my thing. Like, okay, this is what I would have done. Either way, whether I accidentally opened it or I noticed before I opened it that it wasn't mine. Mm-hmm. If I noticed it was delivered to the wrong address and the right address is literally next door, I would have run the package over next door to the person that it actually belonged to.
Yeah, but
that's
I'm
just
with you, but that's you, right? Like, that's not most people, I don't think. So
it should be, though. That's my point.
I'm with you. It should be.
All right. Enough about Amazon package deliveries, but I'd love to hear people's what other people think about the situation in the comments. I would love to hear that.
It's Amazon package delivery time of year. Are you kidding me? Like, I know people that are leaving. No, and you know what? I actually need to do this. Poor Amazon guys. They're at my house at like midnight. People leave like drinks and stuff out for their delivery people, like in a basket, and they'll put a sign on it that says, "Thank you, UPS, FedEx, Amazon delivery driver. Please help yourself." And they'll like put like snacks and bottled water and stuff. And I'm like, that's so nice. Like, I wish I would do that.
I could do that here. Like, I don't have anything delivered to my house. I have it all delivered to my office. So, but I might do that at my office. Although there's all the customers and stuff coming in that are like our clients. They might be helping themselves too. I don't know. Anyway, Let's bring your guest on. I'm super excited.
All right.
Let's bring her on.
Hello.
Hi, ladies.
Would you please introduce yourself to our audience? Tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Monica Bartoli. I am a board-certified family practice doctor. I'm a doctor of osteopathic medicine, and I own and operate all by myself Orion Family Health, which is a house call-based direct primary care practice here in South Florida. And I take care of the Broward and Palm Beach community, and I take medicine and primary care and bring it into their living room in person. So that is the only way I practice medicine. There's no office people come to, no waiting room. I show up in my bright green sports car and do it at their house.
I love that.
I do too. I think that's incredible.
Thank you. I did all my training here in Florida. I'm a Florida girl. And I had done house calls in my previous employed practices after hours out of the kindness of my heart. I would just, if I had elderly patients or patients that just couldn't make it in for whatever reason, they don't have a car, I would leave work and then go to their house and see them anyway out of just, being a good human. And so when it was time for me to pivot and do my own thing, I told my husband, I don't even know where to start with a private practice. He said, do house calls. You love it. That brings you joy. People need it. That's what you're good at. Do house calls. So here I am.
So how long have you been doing that now, doing the house calls?
So I opened my practice August 10th of this year. So almost 4 months.
So kind of in the middle of this pandemic, you did what a lot of people are doing. No, and Juliet and I have this conversation a lot. Many people have completely changed careers or changed how they're doing it, what that looks like for them. I think that's so cool. And I feel like at a time that we're in right now, I feel like people would really appreciate because I know people that don't want to leave their houses still. So
Absolutely. I mean, there was definitely a need with the pandemic for people to have access to their doctor in their homes, or even virtually. I do see people by video if they're ill, so I don't expose myself or my other patients. But there was a need for that, and it just happened at the right time. And I think this pandemic made a lot of us realize that what was going on in our day-to-day lives, if it wasn't sustainable, we had to get rid of it. Life is too short to do things that aren't, serving you. So I think that I agree. I've seen a lot of that wave of people reinventing what they're doing or following their path because of this pandemic. So there's a silver lining.
Absolutely. Now, where did you go to school again? Did I miss that?
I went to Nova Southeastern for medical school. Yep. And then I did my family practice residency at Broward Health.
Very nice. I know a couple people, friends of mine that's children have gone through Nova Southeastern. I hear great things about it. So
yeah. I mean, got me where I needed to be. It was a great experience. Medical school, I always tell people that was the best and worst time of my life. And in hindsight, if I had to go back and do it again, I probably would never. But then I have days where I'm like, gosh, that was such a fun time. I wish I had appreciated it in the moment for what it was,
That's awesome. Well, I love what you do. I think it's a very, very needed niche right now and probably will always be. So do you see children?
I do. I see full scope family practice. I call it womb to tomb. So I have newborns. My oldest patient right now is 93. So I have a whole variety, and I do not just colds and chronic, health, blood pressure, diabetes, but I do joint injections. I actually can do procedures in people's homes for the most part. So I, do stitches when the little ones fall. I bring everything I need. I have a whole go bag in my car.
So when my daughter was growing up, you would have just had to move in.
Yeah, right.
Because she was actually really sick when she was little, but until we figured out what was wrong with her, but it took a long time to get to that point. So she was sick a lot. I could have, as a young mom with 2 small children, to have somebody like you would have really been a big relief for me. So
a lot of parents see the value in it. And, they call me, they text me. So sometimes it's not even that they need to be seen, right? But they just like that they have me. So they can just text me, hey, my kid is doing X, Y, and Z. What do you think? So I love it. And I think that that's the way that medicine should be practiced. We should be personal with our patients. I'm a human, and I like that my patients see me as a human and not some doctor on a pedestal,
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We should probably dive into the question forever. I know. It's a subject we all love. Okay.
Time to jump in.
Time.
So, first question, what is your superpower?
So I had to think a lot about this. And I consulted with my other half last night and said, do I have a superpower? And he looked at me, are you kidding me? You're the woman of steel. And I said, I am? And he said, you are. And so I thought about what that meant and what he meant. And you know what? He was right. I think that that's my power. I'm the woman of steel. I am super resilient, and not just for myself, but for other people that I love, even strangers. I tend to work so well under pressure. That doesn't mean when the stress is over, I don't go in a corner and cry, but in the moment, I don't know where this strength comes from, but I do have some inner strength that I just can put up that shield and reflect whatever's coming and just keep going towards that target. And I didn't realize that about myself until I asked somebody who lives with me. So it was actually a very awesome experience to think about that. But I stole that from Superman. I'm the woman of steel. So give me a cape and I'm ready to go.
Nice. I love that.
And it is like, I think a lot of people have had to ask someone that knows them well because it's, and I don't know why that is. It's so hard for us to recognize our own superpowers. So great tip for everybody out there who doesn't think you have a superpower. Ask your partner, your best friend, your parent, your sibling, like someone else can see your superpower that you can't see. So if you're having trouble recognizing it, do what Monica did.
You know, it reminded me, I had a life coach one time and I was talking to him about identity. And that experience last night reminded me of when I spoke to my prior, motivational life coach about it. And he said, we all have masks, you don't have to wear the doctor mask all the time because that's how I identify myself so much. Mm-hmm. He said, what does Monica's mask look like? And I thought, wow, that was the same kind of moment I had thinking about this superpower that, what's underneath what I put on every day when I go to work. Mm-hmm. And so it's my steel suit.
I love it. Okay. Question number 2 is, what is one book that has influenced you the most?
One book, and I do have one book. I don't have 3 or 4.
Nice.
Most of the books that I read nowadays are all medical or, philosophy and ethics related and stuff. But one book that I think has changed my life, and I actually would like to go back and reread, is The Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Oh, we've been told that book before. You remember that, Julietta? That was like at the very beginning of our podcast.
Yes.
It is transformational.
Someone actually gifted me that book and said that I would love it. And it has disappeared. I don't know where it is.
It tends to do that. I looked for mine actually a couple weeks ago and I couldn't find it. So it tends to do that.
It's Running with the Wolves or something. But yeah, it's definitely on my list of must reads.
Yeah, but, when I was a burned out medical student, I actually rented a room from a nurse who was at that time 60 years old, and I was in my 20s. So we had a 40-year age difference. And she just saw so much potential in what I was doing. And she was always so encouraging. And one day she gave me that book and said to me, Monica, you read this book when you're not sure how to continue being fierce or how to just hone in on the beautiful gifts that you have as a woman. You read this book. And I read it from cover to cover. And I still have it somewhere in my house. It's just with the wolves right now. It's amazing. It's so inspirational. It's so much example of strength through myth and fairy tale of different cultures. It's amazing.
Nice. I love that. Especially like having, I was just in Egypt for a little over 2 weeks. And one of the things that I love about going there is all the mythology and the goddesses, and the goddess over there that I connect with is Sekhmet. And Sekhmet means the powerful one. And, just so much about her mythology I can relate to. And days where I'm like feeling a little beat up and a little weak, I just remind myself that Sekhmet lives within me and I'm Sekhmet.
I love that. I was seeing your pictures from Egypt. I was so jealous. I can't wait. We're supposed to go in 2 years. It's been a bucket list trip for me and my dad. So I'm so excited you had that opportunity.
Well, and if you don't, so I don't know if you saw the episode, Mary Lamando is my Egyptologist, my personal Egyptologist. Anyway, she goes twice a year, every year, and does a fantastic. So I've gone twice with her. So I don't know if you have
we do not
tour guide set up, but I highly, highly recommend her. She was also a guest on this podcast a while back, so you could go and check out her episode as well. And funny story, one of the women on the tour with us went because of this podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So, because she saw Mary's podcast and was like, yes, I'm going to Egypt. She knew she was going to Egypt, but when she saw Mary Lamando's episode with us, she was like, yes, I'm totally going with her. So
that's amazing. Yeah, I'll get that information from you. Because it's an idea at this point with a possible time frame. So
yeah, it's amazing. Like everybody should go. And I know that like people, you can't understand too until you're over there and you're experiencing it. It's incredible. So
100%.
Anyway, let's get back on track.
Sorry.
Question number 3 is, what is your favorite self-care practice? We change it to self-love practice.
Sure. For me, I think the greatest way that I show myself love is when I allow myself to have creativity. And I find that every day I am so regimented in, science and the things I do as a doctor that I as much as I want to be creative with it, it's a very high stakes thing. And so I try to find time to create. I really enjoy it. And I'm not even that good at it. I am not an artist in any way, shape, or form. But when I sit down and paint on a canvas, or I taught myself how to sew, so I'll sketch out fashion designs, and I've actually made some pieces that I can wear and have worn. And when I allow myself to just be open in that space and turn on some music, and that to me is my form of self-love. That's where I am like at rest and at peace when I'm just creating something. So I try to find time to do that because that is what I crave when life becomes a little too much.
That is perfection. Like, we're all creative beings, but it gets stifled down so much with, all the day-to-day stuff that we have to do. And that makes me wonder, Miss Allison, did you do any of your painting yet?
No, I have not yet. It's there waiting for me. I know Nick's even, my husband's even been like, when are you going to do that painting you were going to do? I'm like, I know.
Mm-hmm. I have a craft table. So when I seem to be a little too much, my husband's like, do you want me to set up your craft table for you?
That's funny.
Slowly suggests it. He can see that I need to sit down and just do something, create something. So
I'll do it. I know.
All right. And our 4th and final question, Monica, is, how do you create accountability in your life?
I was blessed with being a type A personality. So which I know does not come natural to a lot of people, when I really have to buckle down and do what I got to do, I make schedules and lists. And, I'm a big writer, pen and paper person. Technology is not my thing. So I have sticky notes everywhere and I have a paper planner to keep myself accountable with day-to-day things. But in life in general, for my accountability, I try to be really open. I actually rely a lot on the people I interact with to make sure that whatever aspect it is in my life, it doesn't have to be just my work, but in my personal life too, that I'm continuing to be the person that I want to be. So a lot of times, I'm very insightful and very thoughtful to, hey, how am I doing at this? Or give me your feedback on this. I was thinking about taking this venture, or I was thinking about whatever it is. And I really take that to heart. I'll ask my family members their thoughts on paths that I'm taking. And that keeps me accountable, because if their feedback to me doesn't reflect what I think I'm doing, then I have to switch gears. I don't want to go too far away from what I initially set out to do in my life, So I think I lean on my tribe a lot. And, even my patients, I'll ask them, so do you have feedback for me? How did this go? What could I make better? What could be improved? And they love it. And then I love it because I get to learn and stay on that track that I'm on.
I think that's great, because I think a lot of people are fearful to ask for feedback, right? Because they're afraid of what someone's going to say, that they're not going to like it, or it's going to hurt their feelings. Or I can be that way, where I don't want to hear what they think, because I might not like what they have to say, right? So I think that's really great. That
I don't like it when it's not solicited.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, we talk about this a lot. I'm a huge pen to paper girl. If you saw my desk right now, I have all kinds of stuff where I keep notes and checklists and cross the box off and, all that good stuff. So yeah, but I like that. I like that you asked for feedback. I need to get better at that.
Yeah, it's not always comfortable. And sometimes, I get feedback I don't expect, and it really stops me in my tracks sometimes, but I think about it and I dwell on it and let it sink in of, okay, if I don't want to give that image off to somebody I love and care about, how do I redirect that then? And so it's important, I think, to hear it, even when it's not all roses. I love when people sing my praises, but the important work comes from when I'm not getting across what I want to.
Yeah.
Like positive feedback it's wonderful to receive, but it doesn't really give you a tool to grow from. And I appreciate anytime someone is bold enough to, because it's not easy either to give someone feedback, letting them know like something that they could benefit from changing or improving. Like that's not easy either. And another huge tool that I learned too is like before you give someone feedback, ask permission to give that feedback. Because even it can be like there's times where it's like I am just not in the mood to like be able to process anything someone hands to me right now. But like give me an hour or give me 5 minutes or give me another day and I'll be all ears and open to receiving that. So if you have feedback to give to someone, ask their permission before you lay it down.
I love that. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. It's just respectful of the boundary, and you don't know what happened 5 minutes beforehand. So, agree with that.
Awesome.
I agree.
Are we ready for takeaways?
I am ready.
Yes. What is your takeaway?
My takeaway is I've got to get that book. We were told about it back in I think it was in one of our first 10 episodes. I think it was Marlou, wasn't it? No. Was that who? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But
we were told about it. And I remember thinking that I thought, and this is perfect example of how somebody says something just the right way. Like I remember when she talked about it, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, but kind of put it on the side, right? Because I was like, it sounds interesting, but it didn't really grab me. Now, the way Monica described it, I was like, ooh, I need to read that book. I need to put that at the top of the list because I hadn't really looked at it in the way that you had described it, when we're facing adversity or we're in difficult situations and how do you kind of keep going. And I love how it uses the mythology. So yeah, I need to get that book. I'm going to have to ask for it from Santa to put under the tree. So.
Have you been naughty or nice, though? Are you going to get it?
Who knows? With my husband, who knows? Depends on his mood.
All right. My takeaway is also about the book, but it's something completely different. So, I work a lot with crystals, and crystals are definitely known to go on walkabout. And I had one stone, and it was so frustrating to me because it was a piece of moldavite. And if you don't know crystals, moldavite ain't cheap. A little tiny piece of it's going to cost you, at least $10, $15. Whereas another stone, you would get that for the same piece for 50 cents. So I'd bought this piece. I was so excited about it and wanting to work with it. And just like that, it disappeared. And I was like, that damn crystal went on walkabout. I guess it's not my time right now. But literally, this stone showed back up in my life 4 years later. It was gone for 4 years. And it just showed up in a place. How did it get there? If it was already there, I would have seen it, every day. And no, it just, yes, crystals, they go on walkabout and they come back. it never occurred to me that books also can go on walkabout. So I wonder where my book is walking, and I wonder when it's going to show back up. But I'm looking. I know it will show up at the moment I'm supposed to read it. So I just have to trust the universe in that.
100%.
I'm just thinking as you're talking, can I just go on a walkabout whenever I feel like it?
No,
you can.
You have to have my permission first.
Wait, what?
You have to have my permission to go on walkabout. Everybody else in your life, it doesn't matter. But
yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine my children, my husband, they'd be like, whoa.
They would be freaking out.
Sorry. Okay. Monica, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway actually is from something that you all talked about before I came into this. So when you were talking before I came on, was about thanking the delivery drivers. Seriously. And every year I hear somebody say it, kind of like what you said about the book. Every year I hear people say, oh, we put, a little water or snacks out for auxiliary drivers. I see it on social media. I'm doing it. I have to do it because it always resonates with me that, they should be appreciated. They do such hard work. And my boxes that come to the house are not light and they're not small. And I get a lot of deliveries here. I have some stuff go to my corporate address, but I have a lot of equipment that I get here. I'm doing it today, and I'm going to put a basket out, and every day I'm going to make a conscious effort just to make sure there's something in there for them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I know. I think about there's some days where I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I will have UPS, FedEx, and Amazon. Did I freeze? Dang it. Where did I freeze?
When you were about to list that you have UPS.
Oh, I have UPS, FedEx, and Amazon drivers like in one day. Because sometimes when you order on Amazon, something will come from UPS, something will come from, you know what I mean? You just never know. So yeah, I need to have stuff for the drivers.
Yeah, especially every day they should be appreciated, but especially this time of year. They're just working so hard. So I'm doing it. You have made it a goal of mine. I wrote it down actually on my paper. So I'm doing it.
Awesome.
Love it.
This was awesome.
Yeah, great show. Thank you so much for joining us today, Monica. And for reals, we got to get together, meet in person. And Allison wants to meet too. So let's do a threesome sometime in the near future. And I also want to put a huge thank you out there to our audience for listening to us. And if you like what you've heard today, please subscribe, follow, like, and share with other goddesses out there. And also, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, visit our website, theotgpodcast.com. And you can fill out a form on our website there to be a guest on our show. We would love to have you. And what am I missing? Oh, if you need to get a hold of Monica or Allison or myself, check out the show notes, all our contact information, our social media, our websites, all that good stuff is in there so you can get in touch with us. And I think that's it. I want to wish you all a very magical day.
Bye, ladies. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.